Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well on this day 3 of our election. Hope everyone's hanging in there. So today I want to talk about the energetics of overgiving and undercharging because they're totally intertwined and have a huge impact on your time and your money and your energy. And this one's like a little bit more complex, but I have a feeling you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about once I jump in. And as you may know by now, my annual Replenish retreat is on, pandemic approved, pandemic friendly, virtual-ish, and you can learn all about it in the link in my bio. But we're actually going to be going through all of these energy leaks that I'm doing these videos on, and we're going to be closing them up so you can actually gain more time and energy and money in your business like ASAP. And I know that we all need that right now. And because this election is still unresolved, I'm going to keep the $100 off discount code up. So if you sign up by tomorrow, let's hope the election is resolved by tomorrow, and the Trump out discount code, TRUMPOUT, can still be used through tomorrow to get $100 off the retreat. All right. So, and if you don't know me, I help hardworking, busy, overachieving women, coaches, consultants, healers, service-based business owners to transform a business that drains them into a business that sustains them. So, you're great at what you do. You've got clients, you've got money coming in. The biggest challenge is that you're working too hard for that money. So we are here to change that. And that's what this video series is all about. Like I said, it's about closing up the 7 most common leaks in your business that are draining your time and your money and your energy. So that you can have like a flow of energy that runs through you and your business so that you can accomplish your goals with much more ease and much more flow and enjoyment too, right? So this 4th leak, okay, so here's what I see a lot of. And you can tell me if any of these things feel like you. So super busy entrepreneurs come to me. We start digging into, what they're offering their clients to see like, okay, what's keeping you so busy, right? And, kind of figure out where all the time is going. And I look and I see like, you're spending a lot of time with that client, or, you're giving away free hours to that client, or, just throwing it in to be nice, or because you feel guilty about charging so much or whatever it is. And then I look at their fees and I'm like, wait, you're giving that much for that amount of money? Wait a minute, this is not good, right? So I see that a lot. I also see people who like try to pack like 10 weeks of information into like a day-long retreat or a workshop. That's also pretty common. And I see this actually even more with online courses, but it has an impact on us. So there's that thing where, you go to like a sales page and you're like, we're going to give you this course and there's like 14 modules and 6 bonuses and you get all this stuff, all this extra stuff. And so people, feel like they have to be offering so much stuff for what they're charging. And there's this feeling that that they're not giving enough. So that's just kind of that's like in the field, right? Of course, most people don't finish those courses because they're so freaking overwhelming, right? I know I've ordered online courses that I've not finished for that very reason. So other people that I work with, they're just offering a lot of like kind of free coaching or brain picking or free consulting to acquaintances or, other people who are friends, or just staying on the phone like extra long time on sales calls. So just kind of like really giving a lot of time for free. And then there's this other piece where people are giving away a ton of free content, which obviously I'm all for free content. I'm using free content right now. It's like a totally helpful thing in your business, but there's got to be the right balance, as with everything, right? But people, I meet women right now who feel like, they have to be giving away more free stuff because of, the climate, what's happening right now. So people are getting in this pattern of giving away too much, and then not asking people to actually buy their stuff, right? Because that's part of your business too, right? And so what happens when you're giving a lot, and especially when you're not charging enough for it, what ends up happening is that people feel resentful, like bitter, like you stop liking the client, you're not really enjoying the work. Sorry about the lighting today, that my spot is extra sunny, and so some funny shadows. I had to find a better spot. But yeah, so basically what happens is like this resentment starts breeding, or even just like a reluctance to even want to do the work. It's like, I don't even feel like doing this, right? Because you're giving a ton and you're not getting paid what you're due, what's necessary. And it's unsustainable because if you're doing this, if you're doing it with one client, fine, you notice it sucks. If you're doing this across the board, you're just going to feel totally drained, right? So why do we do this? Why do people do this? I mean, on a simplistic level, people believe that if they don't give a ton, they're gonna lose their clients that they have, or they're not gonna get new clients, right? So at a very simple level, it's like, oh, the more I give, the more people are gonna like me and keep working with me. That is a myth, okay? We'll talk about that in a second, but that's the belief. What's underneath this belief, okay, like why specifically are people doing this? Well, one thing is, we live in this society that tells us more, always be available. You got to be producing and providing a lot. That's just, again, that's in the field, and that's real, and it has an impact on what we think is necessary. But this kind of overgiving, and all of this kind of over focus on productivity in our society is actually rooted in scarcity. So you can read Lynn Twist's The Soul of Money to learn all about this in depth, but it's rooted in scarcity. Like if we don't give a ton away, then we're not going to have enough people, right? We're not going to have enough clients, right? So people aren't going to be attracted to our business, right? So and put another way, like if we charge too much for what we're giving, we won't keep or get new clients. That's the belief, okay? Another possible reason here that people overgive is that in our society, again, women in particular are expected to overgive. In fact, a lot of women are professional overgivers, right? It can so the overgiving in your business can actually stem from this habit of like having to take care of people, and I mean going beyond just regular taking care of people, but like this over fixation on and like helping people every step of the way, making sure they got it, like kind of not trusting that people can actually figure stuff out for themselves, and doing this kind of caretaking thing. It's exhausting. This coddling, it doesn't actually always help people. It certainly doesn't help them become sustainable in the long term. And if you want to have clients that are, self-sufficient, self-starting type of people, this is not a good strategy to be, to like help people with every little tiny thing, and overgive in this way. So that's kind of what's behind it. Now, the truth of all this is that overgiving, and in particular, overgiving while undercharging, is not bringing you more clients, right? And if it is in the short term, it's not a long-term sustainable plan, right? Because ultimately what it's doing is it's exhausting you. It's breeding resentment, like I mentioned, and it's even reducing the quality of your work, right? It's like, and it just doesn't feel good, right? You know the feeling, okay? So what do we do instead? I want to give you a few tips. So first tip, I want you to remember, cliche, right? But quality over quantity, okay? People are hiring you for your gifts and your ability to help them get to a goal, make a big shift, create something. They're paying for the quality of your work, right? They're not paying you for the minutes that you spend in most cases, right? I talk more about trading time for money versus results in the first video, so you can check that out. But that's the first one, is like quality over quantity, okay? The second thing is that you need to create clear policies for how and when you engage with your clients. So like what's included, what you'll respond to, what costs extra, when you don't respond, what you don't respond to, how it needs to be given to you. Do you want to review something in a Word doc or a Google Doc? Like, imagine you're like, I know probably you've had this experience where like you have a really problematic client that's like crossing your boundaries, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this person is asking for this, right? Well, those people are actually a gift, because what they do is they help you get really uber clear on what boundaries you need to hold, right? And so those clients, I know for me, when I have a client who pushes my boundaries, I'm like, oop, got to write a new policy. And I update the page on my website, the private resources page for my clients, that shows them when I respond and how I respond and how to get a hold of me and all these different pieces, right? And what's the limit, to what you're going to give. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is what I call your dollars to energy exchanged ratio. Acronym DEAR. I just figured that out. So here's a little game you can play with me. Think of some client work that you're doing right now that you're not super excited about, okay? Like just some client work that you don't like totally love in your business. Now, imagine raising the price on that offer, okay? Imagine that, sorry, the light. Imagine that it's a higher amount now, okay? Bump it up. bump it up a little more. And tell me what happens when you, does it feel better when you raise the price? Do you need to raise it a little more? Does the work itself, do you get more excited about doing the work when you ask for more money for it, right? Is there a point where it's like, oh yeah, now this feels good. Now I'm getting paid well for what I'm offering, right? So you can do this little exercise in your head when you're doing some work that you feel like crappy about. Now, sometimes no price increase is going to make it feel good, right? Because the thing itself is actually out of alignment, right? I talk about this in the first video. We'll talk about it again, but this is a bigger issue of like, okay, maybe you shouldn't actually be doing that kind of work, right? So it's just a really good distinction. Like if you raise the money enough, you double the price, you're like, oh, that's great. Then you know you can do it for double the price. But if you're still like, oh, hell no, then guess what? That's probably not an offering that you should be doing in your business. You should be like working on phasing it out, right? I'm not one for like cutting out your bread and butter cold turkey. That's just like not a wise financial move, but phasing things out, I'm all for that. Okay, so the bottom line, your fee has to match your energetic output or the ratio is going to be off and it's going to be all whacked out. Okay, so last thing, finally, for those things that no money is going to make it more fun, or just for the things that that you do, like the free advice or the stuff that isn't really meant to cost money, but it could, all those places where you just overgive, you need to just identify those places and figure out what the boundary is that you need to put in place for that. So if it's like brain picking conversations, oh, maybe you're willing to do one of those a month or a week, or maybe you design something that's like, oh, here, you can just book a half-hour session with me and pay X amount, right? What is it that you need to do to make it feel good for you to do? Or do you need to just say, I'm actually so busy right now, I wish I could help you, but I can't. I'm just busy with paid client work, sorry. You can say it nicely. I've mentioned this in, I think, all the videos by now. Just saying you're going to set a boundary sometimes works. Sometimes it just like, boom, cool. Identify the boundary, put it in there. You can execute it, right? But sometimes there's all this underlayer stuff, right? That's like, the work around scarcity or overgiving, the coddling thing, whatever it is. There's all these. Sometimes it's around like owning your worth or your deservedness or whatever it is, right? So there's this underlying work that kind of needs to be cleared out before you can sometimes create the boundary and then commit and really hold the boundary, right? So that's really important work. And we actually the work is so important that I actually hired an additional coach in my program, Brianna, to work with people on this, both at the Replenish Retreat and in Nourish. We have an expert master coach who is helping people work through the underlying stuff that has us not holding boundaries, that has us like disrespecting our own needs in order to overgive to others, right? Which not sustainable. Okay. So, you don't have to give away more than you feel good about. You don't have to feel selfish for saying no to a client request and putting some boundaries up around how you work. You do not need to feel guilty about keeping your energetic giving level the same and raising your prices to match that. That's also something you can do. So there's another way. It doesn't have to feel crappy, right? We don't want you resenting your work to your clients. That's just not how we want to be in our businesses, right? It's not good for anybody. So if you want to learn how to close up all these darn leaks in your business, start freeing up more time and money and energy, to fuel your vision for your life, then we're going to go deep on this. Like I said, at the Replenish Retreat, you can still use the discount code. Since Trump is not officially out yet, you can still use the Trump out discount code, get another $100 off. The link's in my bio if you want to sign up for that. I'll hold that discount code at least until tomorrow. And then hopefully it'll be wrapped up by then. And then on the retreat, what we're going to do is we're going to slow way down, give you some space to like breathe and connect with yourself and connect with other entrepreneurs and, feel your feelings and like get clear on what's really important for you right now. What are those commitments you want to make in your business and your life, and set some high level goals. And we're going to do this in like a really fun and luxurious way alongside of closing up these leaks in your business so that you have more time and energy and money for your life. So, and also Replenish comes free when you're in my Nourish Mastermind group. So if you're interested in joining that, just check it all out on my website and we can chat. All right. So I'll be finishing up these energy leak videos the next week or so. I think there's gonna be 3 more. So thank you very much and have a great rest of your day.